The United States budget deficit is forecast to reach a staggering $1.5 trillion this year. Both Democrats and Republicans have said cutting it is a priority. But they disagree over how it should be done. The Republicans want to cut spending on healthcare, education and social programs for the poor and the elderly. Now President Obama has outlined his plan to raise taxes on the wealthy and cut government spending, including the massive defence bill. Republicans have accused him of trying to start a class war. Washington correspondent Craig McMurtry reports.
It was billed as the president's vision for tackling out-of-control government borrowing. $4 trillion in cuts over 12 years. In defence, reining in health spending, but not dismantling Medicare, and removing Bush-era tax cuts for the wealthy.
We cannot afford $1 trillion worth of tax cuts for every millionaire and billionaire in our society. We can't afford it. And I refuse to renew them again.
Barack Obama calls his a balanced approach, accusing Republicans of forcing the elderly and the poor to bear all the pain in their deficit reduction plan.
They want to give people like me a $200,000 tax cut that's paid for by asking 33 seniors each to pay $6,000 more in health costs. That's not right. And it's not going to happen as long as I'm president.
What we heard today was not fiscal leadership from our commander-in-chief. What we heard today was a political broadside from our campaigner-in-chief.
We have spoken to the specifics, Mr. President. We are serious. Where are you?
The president had briefed Republican leaders ahead of his speech, but failed to budge them.
We don't believe lack of revenue is a part of the problem, and so we will not be discussing raising taxes.
Not every Republican agrees. Influential GOP strategist and former Congressman Vin Weber believes some tax increases are inevitable.
I don't think it's probably possible to do the deal that needs to be done without a revenue component. I agree with that. Doesn't mean that that's what I would write. If I could do it all by myself, I probably wouldn't. But I think that the Republicans are going to have to figure out how to come to grips with a revenue component of it.
This argument comes less than a week after Washington nearly shut down over finalising this year's budget. That last-minute compromise, which involved cutting $38.5 billion of spending, still has to be voted on in Congress. Those on the left are grumbling that too much was traded away, while the right and Tea Party-backed members wanted much more. Former Democrat Senate Majority Leader Tom Daschle says the vote could be uncomfortably tight.
I think it's going to be very close. I think especially in the House it's going to be close. I don't think there's a lot of enthusiasm on either side.
On top of that, the US is about to hit its $14.3 trillion federal debt limit. Republicans are demanding big concessions from Democrats before agreeing to raise it. The White House says not raising it would lead to an economic catastrophe. Barack Obama is calling for both sides to work together.
Americans deserve and will demand that we all make an effort to bridge our differences and find common ground.
The political climate is so much more antagonistic today than it's ever been. The media, the race for money, the pressures that people are feeling politically from back home, all of that contributes to a very, very adversarial environment.
America's partisan divide seems wider than ever. Craig McMurtry, Lateline.